The most difficult question that might face us in this next segment is what's the difference between this red box and this green box? Welcome back to Get Connected. I'm your host, Conn Jackson. One thing we don't want is a sore throat. How do we keep it from manifesting into something worse? Dr. Hussar is here to help us out. Doctor, welcome.
Hello, Conn.
All right, doctor, what is it about the field of pharmacy that attracted you and your passions to it?
I enjoyed the learning about how medications work and how they could be so effective in helping to relieve symptoms and oftentimes cure medical problems.
Well, doctor, given that passion, we're now going to get in the know thanks to you. But why are sore throats, colds, and flu so common in the winter season?
Oftentimes sore throats and colds develop from various causes. Viruses are the most common causes of colds. We also find that the symptoms may vary widely, and even our activities can be influential or be explanations for the circumstances that are experienced. Just for example, the Chloroseptic survey on sore throats revealed some expected responses, such as most associate sore throats with a cold or an allergy. But what was also found that was somewhat of a surprise was that activities like yelling or cheering at a football game or being involved in a noisy atmosphere where we have to raise our voices to be heard can also contribute to the occurrence of sore throats.
Very interesting indeed. Now, what should be in our winter survival health kit?
Well, my recommendation is that we be prepared for symptoms even before they occur. If there are symptoms that we commonly experience, particularly during what might be known as the cough and cold season, that we have some products that would be of value for a sore throat. My second recommendation would be to speak with a pharmacist to obtain the advice that a pharmacist is in a position to provide. And one of the things that I and other pharmacists will often recommend is that we have a product that is effective for the relief of sore throat. Chloroseptic lozenges and throat spray are the sore throat products that pharmacists most often recommend, and these provide not only prompt relief but are safe to use because the medications make contact right at the point where the symptoms are being experienced and are not likely to cause problems in other parts of the body.
Now, when it comes to sore throat, what is the contributor that seems to set our body off?
Well, I would say the most common would be the common cold. And sore throat is often the first symptom of the common cold. In contrast, and sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between a cold and symptoms that are caused by allergies. But with allergies, the first symptoms usually involve the nose, such as a runny nose or sneezing or nasal congestion. A sore throat could follow, but typically would come after other symptoms have appeared. So sometimes the sequence in which symptoms appear can be a clue as to the type of problem. Just for example, if there is not any reason to think that there is an allergy, we would not need a product that contained an antihistamine. But a product that contains an antihistamine would be of value when sore throat and nasal congestion symptoms are associated with the exposure to allergens.
Well, doctor, it certainly makes sense, but once we start feeling the onset of the symptoms, what should we do to mitigate its risk of growing?
Well, one of the first things would be to make a determination as to whether the symptoms are minor and can be treated with non-prescription medications. And for most of us, the symptoms will be minor and can be quickly relieved with a product like Chloroseptic. But if there is difficulty in swallowing going along with the sore throat, if there's a fever that is experienced, they could be indicators that there's a bacterial infection that should be treated with an antibiotic. And that's the sort of situation in which an individual should see a physician promptly. Now, for the sore throats that we treat ourselves with a non-prescription medication, my advice is that if the sore throat is not relieved within 2 days or so, that would be the point to see a physician to make sure that there's not something that could develop into something more serious.
Well, Doctor, one thing we can all agree on, and you've got great advice. Thanks for joining us. And where can we go to learn more about what you shared today?
Well, there are several websites that I think of. One would be the chloraseptic.com website. There's a WebMD website, and there also can oftentimes, just by plugging terms in like sore throat or scratchy throat, we can get responses that will be of help also in identifying when we need to treat symptoms and what products are most effective in doing that.
Well, Doctor, I very rarely say this, but have a healthy, happy holidays.
Thanks, and the same to you, Conn.
Well, we got a lot more advice than just the apple keeps the doctor away. Let's keep those sore throats away. We'll be right back with more Get Connected. Why? Because we love keeping you in the know. Thank you so much for watching. Are you tired of negative news? We are.
And that's why we're creating a movement.
By keeping it real.
With what you need to know.
It's more than what's happening.
It's bringing hope back to our lives.
So go to conntv.com and join our movement.